What's up, guys? We are back crammed in the car again because we are going to rip out this dash so we can get that wiring harness out, get the shifter cables out, we can get the ECU out, whatever else is back there that we don't need. We're going to go ahead and rip it out. So let's get to work on tearing this dash out. Alright, to get this dash out, basically all you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver and a 10mm. And that's pretty much it. Luckily for me, most of my dash is already torn apart. I've been tearing this thing apart over the years, but I'll run through it really quick for you. First, you want to get the center console out, take your shift knob off, pop the cup holder and ashtray out, 2 bolts down there, take those out. There's going to be 2 bolts on the sides here, take those out. You can pull this whole center console out. You take this middle trim piece bezel off of there, take the radio out, and then basically you'll be right where I'm at. so first thing we're going to tear out is this bezel around the gauge cluster and take the gauges out. And that's 2 Phillips screws up there. Jeez. And that pops right out. Alright, now the gauge cluster comes out with the Phillips here, Phillips there, Phillips there, Phillips there. Alright, now to get this cluster out, it's kind of finicky. You gotta kind of just flip it around and get it angled just right to be able to slide out of there. Alright, now down in here you got 2 10mm, one there and one other. Alright, next we'll go ahead and pop the trim out. So we'll take this out, unplug all that stuff. Take this one out, unplug those. And all this is already disconnected. Your AC would have 4 Phillips screws here. Mine are already gone. Alright, next we'll take this glove box off. So we just open her up. And on the sides here, there's 2 little nubs that stick out. You can see this one. And so you have to pull those out past this ledge they're sitting on. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can either pinch it really hard, that, and go past it. Or, if you just lift up on the glove box a little bit, and you stick your finger back there and push down on that nub, the whole thing comes out. So you push down on it, and then the whole thing will come out. Then the glove box come down, and you got 2 Phillips screws. Now we'll go ahead and take this side piece off, and that's just a 10mm and a Phillips. Now behind the glove box here, you got this little switch, and that's just a trigger to turn this, where is it, this light bulb on when you open up the glove box. And then this metal bar, you can actually leave this bar on. This is held by these Phillips, that one and that one. And that'll actually help keep this dash rigid as you're trying to get it out. But that 10mm and that 10mm need to go, and this one here. And there should be one here too, but it's already gone. Alright, next we'll get this airbag out. If you go up underneath here, see there's this 10mm, that 10mm, but also right up above it there's a little Phillips screw right there. Same thing over here. Little Phillips screw there. Take those 4 out, and then this airbag will lean up. There's an electrical connection back here. Undo that, and then it comes out. Alright, that electrical connection for the airbag actually comes down and plugs in right here to that red plug. And of course it's one of those difficult airbag plugs where you got this little green latch you have to open first and then you can unplug it. Alright, now we got to get back behind these tweeters, and these just pop in, little plastic clips on them, so you just stick something in here, pry it up, it'll pop right out. Just be careful not to damage your dash. But back in there, there's one little 10mm there, same thing on the other side. Alright, we're back here on the driver's side now, and you should have a little cover piece here. I don't, but there's a 10mm there. You should have another little plug there, which I don't, and a 10mm bolt there, which I don't. And then right down here, there's another 10mm, and here, another 10mm, and then this tray will come down. Alright, so now the dash is loose. We can work it out of there, and you got to be careful because like these wires, let's see if I can get you to see in there, they connect to a loom, and then that loom is still connected to the dash. And also, you know, where your gauge cluster plugs in, I don't know why this is not working out for me. When the gauge cluster plugs in, all that electrical is still going to be there. So basically you're going to want to try to wiggle it out carefully and then disconnect those from the dash on the back side as you can get to them. It's a real finicky job. It's actually easier if you unbolt the steering shaft up there and then let the steering wheel hang down. It'll give you a little more room to get the dash out, but it is possible to get the dash out with the steering wheel still in place. So let's have some fun. See? Piece of cake. So since you probably couldn't see, I'll show you a few things that still needed to be disconnected. In these middle vents here, you have this little flap that opens and closes. This just clips into the side of it, so just unclip that. And then there was a wire loom that came down through here and just plugged into these two plugs right there. And then on the driver's side, there's a loom. Loom came down, plugged into this and this, and then also went back and plugged in right there. And that was everything. Then you just wiggle it out and focus, sucker. It's definitely easier if you just disconnect the steering shaft and drop the steering wheel down, but it is possible to get it out without taking the steering wheel down. It's just a serious pain in the butt. Trust me. Alright, with the dash out, we can see clearly this is where that wiring harness comes in here, and that is where our shifter cables go out. So we'll just pop that grommet out. But where the wiring harness comes, it's clipped in there, it's clipped in on this bracket, but it plugs into a whole lot of mess back here. So we're gonna have to unplug everything that's plugged into it, and then we can push it out. And then for the shifter cables, we just got two 10 millimeters on either side of the cables there. Undo those, and then we can pull the cables in here. Alright, we got the harness out and we got those shifter cables out. So, and the dash is out, looking pretty gutted in here. So what else can I take out? There's a lot of things in this harness in here that I don't need, that I can tear out. Like this, whatever this is. I think this plugs into like the factory amp for the stereo. And that's never been plugged into anything, so I can get rid of stuff like that. Go through here and cut stuff out. Oh, actually, I can get rid of this shifter plate because I won't be using that. We have to change that out. So, alright, I'll tear that out right quick. She gone. I also want to take these brackets off and paint them. They're looking pretty nasty, all rusty like that. But I'll do that off camera. You guys don't need to sit and watch paint dry, so I'll just show you when that's done. But yeah. Alright guys, we got this interior gutted, all cleared out. Quite a bit of work, but I'm happy with the progress. Moving right along. So if you haven't seen the previous video, you can hit that link up here. Check out the next video, you can hit that link up here. And if you're enjoying the build, hopefully you'll hit that subscribe down here. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.